You're standing in your kitchen at 11 at night, phone lit up in your hand, rereading a text you sent yourself 3 months ago. It just says, "I already know," you'd forgotten you wrote it. But there it is, dated, time-stamped, proof that some part of you saw this coming long before anyone confirmed it. And now you're asking the question that actually matters. What happens when the thing you already knew gets said out loud by someone else first? Not by you, by the world, by a friend, by tomorrow itself. Here's what nobody tells you. You think you're waiting for the truth to arrive. You're actually waiting for permission to stop pretending you didn't already know it. That's a different wait entirely. One is passive. The other is you, standing at the door, hand on the knob, telling yourself it's still locked, and that wait has a shape. You rehearse a conversation in your head for weeks, then find some reason the timing isn't quite right. You feel relief and dread in the same breath whenever someone almost brings up the thing you've buried. You've even started collecting small pieces of evidence, quietly, like you're building a case for a truth you haven't said out loud yet. Tomorrow doesn't care how ready you feel. Tomorrow does what you already did months ago. It just makes it official. So let's be precise about what actually happens. The transit doesn't hand you new information tomorrow. It doesn't whisper some secret you never had access to. It just makes it impossible to keep filing what you already know under maybe. That folder closes. So, tonight, before anything else, name the one thing you've suspected for months in a single sentence, written somewhere only you can see it, not for anyone else, just so it exists outside your head. Because here's the uncomfortable part. If you keep waiting for outside confirmation, you're handing away something that was always yours. The knowing was never the problem. Your relationship to saying it, that's the problem, and tomorrow is going to test exactly that. At 29 degrees and 55 minutes, the sun reaches the very last breath of its sign, standing almost exactly on Regulus, the star old astrologers called the heart of the lion. This isn't a wide, lazy alignment. It's less than a third of a degree, tightening by the hour, exact just after sunrise in Paris on August 23rd. That kind of closeness has a specific human translation. Whatever you've been circling gets pulled into direct light, whether you're ready to look at it or not. Regulus has never rewarded hiding. It rewards the person who stops performing certainty and finally says the true thing plainly. Think of it like a bridge you've been staring at from one side for months, telling yourself the crossing isn't necessary yet. Tomorrow doesn't build a new bridge. It just makes the one you've been avoiding impossible to unsee. And the cost of crossing isn't small. Saying the true thing plainly means you can't take it back once it's out. It means whatever comes next, a conversation, a decision, a door closing somewhere, actually starts moving. That's the trade. Clarity for comfort. Most people want the clarity and keep the comfort too. Tomorrow doesn't let you have both. So here's the sober question to sit with before you go to bed tonight. Whose voice have you been waiting to hear? Say it first. And what does it cost you every day you keep waiting? Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo. Let's talk about the moment you're in mid-sentence, standing in front of people who admire you, and you feel it happen. That small internal flinch where you soften a truth that actually deserved to be said whole. You know that flinch. It's quiet, it's fast, and you've gotten so good at it that most people would never notice. But you notice. Every single time. Here's what that flinch has already cost you. You've been performing confidence in rooms full of people who love you while privately rehearsing the version of yourself they expect to see, instead of the one that's actually true right now, today, in this moment. And the cost isn't dramatic. It's slow. It's the quiet loneliness that keeps growing underneath the applause, because you're being loved for a mask, and some part of you knows it, and that knowledge doesn't go away just because the room is clapping. That flinch you've felt for months, that pull towards saying the real thing instead of the polished thing, this is where it's been leading. The sky is backing you up on this in a way that's hard to ignore. The sun is spending its final degree of the year sitting right in your own sign, on the point astrologers call the degree of exposure. Not the degree of preparing, not the degree of getting ready. The degree where there's nothing left to prepare, only something left to reveal. So here's what I want you to actually do with that. Not some giant confession, not a dramatic unveiling in front of everyone who's ever admired you. Just one person, this week. Give them one true sentence, unfiltered, uncushioned, with no joke tacked onto the end to soften how it lands. Say the thing you'd normally trim down for their comfort. Let it stay whole. Watch what happens when you do. People stop relating to the performance and they start relating to you, which feels more exposed, yes, but it's also more solid, in a way the performance never was. Because here's the truth underneath all of this, Leo. The lion was never hiding from others. It was hiding from being fully seen. This week, stop hiding, not louder, just unhidden. Aquarius, here's the thing about you that you don't like admitting. You've built a whole identity around being the independent thinker, the one who doesn't follow the herd, and yet the actual test of that never happens when you're alone. It happens in company. It happens in a crowd of opinions moving in one direction while yours quietly moves in another. Picture the group chat. Everyone's agreeing, fast, easy, the kind of consensus that builds its own momentum. And you're sitting there thinking something completely different, something that contradicts the mood of the room. So you type a reply. You delete it. You type another one, softer this time, hedged with qualifiers so it won't land too hard. You delete that one too. A third attempt, shorter, almost neutral, gone as well. In the end, you send nothing, and the conversation moves on without you, agreeing with itself, unaware that you disagreed the entire time. Here's what that silence actually costs you. You tell yourself you're protecting the group's harmony, keeping the peace, not making things awkward. But underneath that story, something else is happening. You start resenting the very people you never gave the chance to hear you. That's the quiet math nobody talks about. You chose the silence, and then you charge interest on it as if it were forced on you. The group didn't take your voice. You handed it over and called it kindness. This transit isn't asking you to go inward and meditate on your truth in isolation. It's landing directly opposite your sign, right in the house of partnership, which means your clarity doesn't arrive through solitude this time. It arrives through someone else's face, someone else's response, someone else's mirror held up in real time. You find out what you actually believe by watching how it lands when you finally say it out loud to another person. So, here's the contradiction you're living inside. You think of yourself as the one unafraid to stand apart from the crowd, yet you've been quietly rehearsing agreement for longer than you'd like to admit. The action this week is almost uncomfortably plain. Say the unpopular sentence once, calmly, in the actual group, not in a private message to someone safer. Say it, and then stop. Don't defend it. Don't soften it afterward. Don't chase everyone's reaction to make sure they still like you. What you get in return isn't comfort. Comfort was the thing you were protecting, and it was always false anyway, built on everyone pretending to agree. What you gain instead is sturdier, people who now actually know where you stand, which is worth infinitely more than people who assume they do. You didn't lose your voice. You lent it out and forgot to ask for it back. This is the week you ask for it back. Taurus, think about the home you've built, the actual one and the one inside you, the version of stability you've spent years assembling piece by piece, carefully, patiently, because that's what you do better than almost anyone. You stand inside it now and you look at one part of the foundation, just one. You've known about it for a long time, longer than you've ever said out loud. There's a crack there, quiet, familiar, easy to walk past if you angle your steps just right. So the question worth sitting with today is this: what does it actually cost you to keep it comfortable instead of keeping it honest? Here's what's really happening underneath.